This summer transfer window has not just been about players, it has also been about managers. The same way we have seen big transfers for players, we have also seen big appointments for coaches. There are some appointments everyone saw coming from a mile away, like Enzo Maresca to Man City and Zinedine Zidane to France, for example. But a few took us by surprise, and those are the ones we're here to talk about today. These are 10 big managerial appointments that have shocked us the most this summer. We'll start with Ange Postecoglou. Nobody would have guessed that Big Ange would be heading to Saudi Arabia this year, but it has really happened. The former Spurs manager was hired by Al Nassr this summer to take over from Jorge Jesus, who departed to take the Portugal job. What this means is that we're about to see Cristiano Ronaldo play Ange ball, and that's something we simply would have never predicted. And we were also quite surprised to see Jurgen Klopp return to coaching this summer. 2 years ago, he said he was running out of energy and just could not continue. He would go on to say that he was done with coaching, and it seemed exactly so when he took up a role as head of global soccer at Red Bull. More so this year, he shut down rumors about him joining Real Madrid as head coach or moving to the Saudi Pro League, so nobody was really looking at him to make a return this summer. And nobody was expecting Julian Nagelsmann and the Germany national team to mess up as badly as they did at the World Cup either. But when that happened, Nagelsmann had to walk and the FA had to pull Klopp out of retirement to come and save the day. At the beginning of June, absolutely no one would have made this prediction, but one shocking incident led to another, and here we are. Another shocking appointment we saw this summer was that of Ruben Amorim. Everyone thought that his stint at Manchester United totally tarnished his image, so the feeling was that it would be a long time before he would land another big job. But out of nowhere, it was announced that AC Milan had hired him to replace Massimiliano Allegri. Obviously, Milan are in a bad place right now, but they are still a big club and this is still a big job, so a lot of fans were very shocked by this one. Also, the last 2 Portuguese managers Milan had didn't really work, so folks were surprised that the club was back to that so soon, especially when it's a manager who doesn't have the best reputation right now. Amorim becomes the 3rd Portuguese manager Milan have hired in the last 2 years, and this is after they went their entire history without a single manager from Portugal until 2024. Now, Newcastle have also hired a new manager, and the whole thing is shocking for many reasons. We'll talk about it in a moment, but if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
Done? Okay, back to the video. The first really shocking thing about the whole Newcastle situation is that they let go of Eddie Howe. He won the club its first trophy in 56 years, becoming the first English manager to win a major trophy in England in 21 years. He also helped them reach the knockout rounds of the UEFA Champions League for the first time in over 2 decades. This seemed like a match made in heaven, and nobody expected that we would be seeing any managerial changes at the club this summer. But suddenly, news broke that Newcastle had parted ways with Eddie Howe and will be replacing him with Matthias Gisel, the 38-year-old former Al Ahly manager. It was shocking to see Howe leave, and also shocking to see that he was replaced by a guy who had been plying his trade in the Saudi Pro League for the last 3 years. And they wanted him so badly that they agreed to pay an €11 million compensation fee to Al Ahly to get him. It was also quite a surprise to see Fulham hire Alvaro Arbeloa as head coach this summer. It is not every day you see a coach go straight from Real Madrid to Fulham, so this was quite a surprise for many. I guess more people were expecting Arbeloa's next job to be at a mid-table or newly promoted Spanish club, so seeing him move to the Premier League caught a lot of people off guard. But considering he has experience in English football, having played for Liverpool and West Ham, should we really be that surprised that he is back there now? But Oliver Glasner's new job is shocking for a completely different reason. After he said goodbye to Crystal Palace following a successful stint at the club, everyone thought he was going to join a big club next, especially with most of the big boys on the hunt for new gaffers this summer. And it really did feel like he would land a big one at first, with Liverpool and AC Milan reportedly very interested in his services, but he ended up at Nottingham Forest, and that feels sort of anticlimactic. Leaving Palace for Forest is surely not a step up, and after everything he achieved with the London club, winning them their first ever trophy and then an extra 2, we all thought that he was going to get a big move for sure. Of course, he could still work magic with Forest, but it's just quite a surprise that that was where he ended up. Next, let's talk about Liam Rosenior. He just got hired to be the head coach of Paris FC, and you can actually see the sense in it considering how well he did the last time he was in charge of a French club. But it is just a little shocking that he already has a job so soon considering how badly he did at Chelsea. Rosenior's Chelsea stint was record-breakingly bad. I mean, this guy led Chelsea to their worst winless and goalless run in 114 years. It was really, really bad. So we thought he would have to sit out coaching for some time as people might want to stay away from him after that. But just 3 months after he was sacked by Chelsea, he got a job as head coach of a club in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, and that is a little shocking, if we're being honest. Moving on, Martin Demichelis being appointed coach of RB Leipzig took a lot of people by surprise. The former Bayern Munich and Manchester City defender only just got his UEFA Pro coaching license in 2022. Then in 2025, he was sacked from Monterrey after just 9 months at the job. He would then go on to suffer relegation from La Liga with Mallorca this year. So he doesn't exactly have the best CV, but now he'll be in charge of one of the biggest clubs in Germany. Quite surprising, isn't it? What makes it that bit more surprising is the fact that he just signed a contract extension with Mallorca in May, which was supposed to keep him at the club until 2028. So absolutely nobody was expecting a move from him this summer. But boom, the very next month news broke that Leipzig had hired him as their first team manager. Shocking. And seeing David Ancelotti get appointed as head coach of Lille was quite a shock too. All his career, he has only ever been assistant to his dad at Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Brazil, and everything in between. He tried branching out on his own in 2025, taking up the role of head coach at Botafogo, but he was sacked just 5 months later, after which he returned to being by his dad's side again. To see a man go from being daddy's boy to landing a job at one of the biggest clubs in France is quite a shocker. I mean, we're talking about a club that won the league as recently as 2021. What did they see in Davide Ancelotti to hand him the reins as head coach? I guess we're going to find out when the season kicks off. Finally, Jose Mourinho. He is one of the biggest and most successful managers of his generation, and he has the CV to land any job in the world, but some people were just a little surprised that Florentino Perez went back to him instead of hiring a younger, more modern coach to move the club forward. Mourinho is not many people's favourites, and some fans have called him a dinosaur. A lot of people called him finished, especially because his last 4 jobs were Spurs, Roma, Fenerbahce and Benfica, and he was sacked by all except Benfica. Not many believed that he would ever coach a top club again, so seeing him at one of the biggest clubs in the world was a surprise to many. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you. Which managerial appointment has shocked you the most this summer? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.